Hi, Florence. I'm going to start letting the kids in. Gina's in the wrong place, but I will let the kids in because they've been...
Gina went into WebEx.
All right, guys, I'll kick us off. I will introduce you, Florence, and then we'll wait for Gino. I'll get him the right invitation.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm sorry there was a little delay. You know, in this virtual learning space, we had people in the wrong room. So this is the session for the Rutgers Business School Office of Career Management. So tonight, joining us, we have the director of the Office of Career Management and one of his associates, so Eugene Gentile and Florence Herman. They are going to be discussing all things career and employment related, because we know you guys always have a lot of questions about internships and co-ops and who's hiring from us. So in case you haven't seen any of the sessions with me, I am Christine Yanuzzi. I am the admissions officer specifically for Rutgers Business School. I'm going to be moderating the chat box tonight. So if you guys have questions, you can put them in the chat. If it's a small enough group, after Florence and Gino go through their presentation, you know, we could possibly open it up to your questions and just make sure that we're understanding what's important to you and answering those questions. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you guys and we'll begin from there. So thanks for joining us.
Sorry I was late. I also teach here, and my class was a vibrant one today. Let's just say that. We're the Suez Canal situation has created an awful lot of conversation. So we got caught up in a thing on that, and I apologize. So welcome to Rutgers Business School. As my study buddy identified me, I am the director of the Office of Career Management in the undergraduate division in New Brunswick. So if you come to Rutgers, we own you. With me is Florence. She's my lead counselor. We call them career management specialists, more commonly known as a career counselor. And we do an awful lot of things in addition to counseling students, a lot of programming, and we teach classes and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I'll let her introduce herself, and I'll tell you more about myself later. Go ahead, Florence. Tell them about yourself.
Good evening, everybody. As you heard our director say, I am one of the career management specialists with the business school in New Brunswick, and we assist with job search strategies, resumes, interviewing skills, a whole host of things, starting pretty much early on in your tenure at Rutgers. We really want you to be successful in your job search, and we have all the tools that are available that we share with you so that you know exactly what you have to utilize to better assist you in that search. We also host career fairs, we host employer events, we do the gamut. So that's pretty much what we do and how we do. And I don't know if we want to open it up to questions, because I don't have anything real formal that I've put together. I don't know if you have, Mr. Gentile, director.
I only have one slide to show, and I didn't do a presentation. I think that this should be mostly Q&A. Miss Yanuzzi, is there an issue with them turning their cameras on, or are you okay with that?
I love that idea. So the only issue might be with them, but we don't care, guys, what you look like, if you're eating, if you're drinking, if it's in the middle of dinner. I think it's better just for engagement if you guys would turn your camera on, but that's up to them. So
yeah, I would encourage you to do so. If you'd like, you can blur your background or put up a fake one. I might have a fake background. Let's see, where's my thing here? Where's my backgrounds? I think they're on the video thing, right? Let's see what I would choose if I were you. Let's see. Here's one of my favorites. Anyway, all right, you're too young to know what that means. All right, forget it.
Oh, there's an interesting look right there.
Wow. Okay. So who knows what the Brady Bunch is? I'll turn that off. So I'll tell you a little about myself, just so you know. I graduated from Rutgers College, which no longer exists. It's now part of the School of Arts and Sciences in 1980. Back then, the campus bus was a covered wagon, and we slept in tents for our dorms. That's a lie. And then, so I graduated in 1980, and I kind of disappeared for a while. Then I became very active in my alumni association while my daughter was considering going to college, probably a little younger than you all are now. Became very active in the alumni association. I eventually became president of the Rutgers Alumni Association. So now I'm a past president. About 8 years ago, I came to work at Rutgers, the business school, after becoming a private career coach. So now I bring those talents to you, share them with you as students. And I recently completed my master's degree. So my degrees are actually, and that's why Christine and I are study buddies, because we were in the same program at different times, and she kept me honest and basically mothered me into getting my work done. So my degrees are 40 years apart. So it's the old 80-20 rule, one degree in 80 and one in 20. And I'm very proud of both of them. That's about it for Rutgers. My daughter also is an alum. She came here and graduated from the Graduate School of Education. My new alma mater, she graduated in 2010. So I graduated with my degree 10 years after she graduated with her master's degree. So you could say we bleed scarlet. I met my wife at Rutgers. So there's a lot of Rutgers running around. And my grandbabies are here, but they're not wearing their Rutgers garb, so I will not introduce you to them. So why don't we do this?
Open it up. Let's open it up.
What questions do you have for us? Who's got the first question? Go ahead. Just just unmute yourself and ask your question. I thought Antonio put his hand up. I could be wrong.
Oh, my bad. I didn't raise my hand, but
Oh.
yeah, I'll ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What are some key things for people just entering Rutgers to know about or to start doing in order to get on track for a good internship?
Excellent question. First thing, get good grades. First thing, get good grades. So and Tony, that's a great question. And it shows what we want you to be thinking about. We want you to think about your career plan from almost day one. But it's very, very important that you maintain your grades. So we're going to talk about, and I think maybe Florence, you're better off talking about some things that we want you to be doing, preparing you for the internships, but please make sure that you keep your grades up, because that is going to be very important. So Go ahead, Florence.
So to my colleague's point, grades are important, but there are also so many opportunities, even from the beginning, for you to meet with employers. There's all kinds of networking events. There's social things that employers do, especially in the virtual world right now. It's a lot easier to get to those events. And at events like those, you're going to want to keep your camera on, because believe it or not, employers are looking to see who is more engaged. So that's one of the things that you can do. I mentioned earlier, we do have career fairs, even though they're virtual. Even as a freshman, you definitely want to acclimate yourself to that as well. Get yourself a suit, because in a lot of these events, you're going to want to look as professional as possible. So if you're looking to start early, that's definitely a tip that we can share with you as well. Get your resume up to speed. Even though you may be a freshman, you may not have a lot of information on it, you definitely want to have that as a source that you're going to want to start sharing with employers. So because they're going to be asking for it. So those are some of the things you can do early on, but great question. What are you thinking of in terms of a major, Antonio? Do you know yet?
I'm probably going to major in finance.
Finance, okay. A lot of good companies out there in all majors, but definitely finance. I don't know if you have any interest yet or think you know what you want to do in finance, but there are definitely a lot of opportunities. Also clubs. And I know that at some point, you're probably going to hear more about the clubs that we have on campus, but there are some great organizations, and the employers do target those organizations, because students that belong, they're going to be hosting events and they're going to want you to know about them. So a lot of things you're going to get involved in, once you get on campus, whether it's virtual or live, wherever you get first, but there are a lot of activities that go on.
Great information. Thank you both.
No problem.
And
Good
it's
question.
true, you're thinking about your career, right? So, and it's funny because the class I just teaching is about goal setting, right? We're talking about a 5-year plan after college. So you guys need right now a 4-year plan, right? So you need to develop a plan to graduate. And if you're thinking the way you are, which is great, you're actually thinking about the next 5 years. You're actually creating a 9 to 10-year plan. And that's good that you're thinking in that way. So it's not easy to do that, but it's great that you're thinking that way. And I think that's one of the challenges that we have is if you're not thinking about your internships, how do I motivate you to do so? So the fact that you're pre-motivated to think about it will make our together jobs a lot easier, right? So you're going to start looking at companies, industries that can use your skills. You're going to start, like she said, you're going to start networking through career fairs and other events. Keep the grades up so that you're attractive to these employers when you're ready to get an internship. We're going to put you in front of other what we call experiential learning activities that may not be full internships, but they're definitely like an internship, a differentiator on your resume that give an employer something different to look at than just your classroom work. The Rutgers Business School, we have 6 majors. So there's, let's say, how many people are on the call? 23 of us work, 4 of us work here. So there's 16 of you, say. That means that at least by average, 2 point something of you are going to be the same major. So you're going to take almost the same classes. So how do you differentiate yourself? It's in these experiential learning opportunities, the internships, the externships, the job shadowings and things like that. So you'll be doing all those things to create a differentiated resume for you to present. Make sense?
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
We know that Rutgers University students work with the Office of Career Exploration and Success, but Rutgers Business School students have exclusive access to our own Office of Career Management, which is a nice differentiator for students who are looking at other schools. It's a nice perk we have. Can you guys explain some of what we offer to the business school students, like our business forum class, our business night career platform, and really how that's going to set a student up for success because they're not really competing against the masses?
That's a great question, and I really appreciate you bringing that up. Yes, so Rutgers University has its own career services department, and you are entitled to all of their services and resources because you're going to pay a student fee to them. As a Rutgers Business School student, you're going to be paying another student fee that pays for our office and our resources that only you have access to. So there's a platform called Handshake, which a lot of the world uses, and you'll have access to that through the university. We have something called Business Night, which is only open to business school students. So you get to look at all the jobs that your arts and sciences colleagues get to look at, but they don't get to look at yours. The business forum class, which is what I was just teaching, is a career management class and professional development class that only business school students can take. And you must take it, by the way, it's required. So you're going to be forced to sit in a class with me or somebody like me, and we're going to beat into your head about resumes and applying for jobs and interviewing. And you're going to be taught these skills, not just offered the ability to learn about them. This is a great differentiator. One of the things that Florence is very active in is running the mock interview program that we run for our students. And it's a required thing. You have to take a mock interview. So you get the jitters out in class and not at a real interview. So these are great differentiators. That's considered best practice among other schools. When we go to conferences and they're all, oh, if only we can have a required, business career management class. I go, well, we have that. And like, oh, that's so great. That's so great. What do you do? We tell them what we do. Oh, we wish we could do that. So these are best practices among our Big Ten colleagues in all business schools. Not all of them have this required and available to their student body, and we do. We run our own career fairs. So you get to go to all the career fairs that the university puts on. And then we have our own career fairs that the university can't come to. Only you can. So you can go to their counselors, but they are not specifically having they have 101 majors or something that they worry about. We worry about 6. That's it. So we're a lot closer to you. We're all in the same building when COVID is over. And the good news is we already do know that we'll be on campus in September. We're in the same building. You're going to be taking classes, and that's where our offices are, in the same building, not a bus ride away. So these are huge advantages. We're going to be in your face, whether you like it or not, and you will like it. I guarantee it. It's all good stuff. Did I miss anything?
No, I think you got it all. Yeah.
Oh, and in business night, there are jobs that are only for you. There are events only for you. There are networking opportunities only for you. We get paid by you to serve you, and no one else in the university.
That's great. And Gino and Florence, if you can touch a little bit on some of the unique workshops that we offer to the business school students, like business etiquette, dining etiquette, speed networking. So these are all things that are going to help the students, practice the dreaded elevator pitch, that 30 seconds of tell me about yourself that I still can't do, but our Rutgers Business School students can do. So if you can talk a little bit about that, I think that would help the students.
Yeah, so when we're on campus, obviously, a lot of those events do take place. We do have, believe it or not, employers are doing dinner interviews. They're doing networking cocktail hour interviews. So we want you to be prepared. So we've created these workshops. We do have a facilitator who moderates them, and she will show you how to handle a networking event where you've got a cup in one hand, a plate of food in the other, and how do you get around and meet with the employers and the other people that are there, really interviewing you in a different type of setting. Same thing with the dining etiquette. It's where you're sitting down to a meal, and how do you talk to an employer? How do you interview? How do you communicate while you're trying to eat, drink, and communicate at the same time? So there are very special skill sets, and that's what the facilitator does. She actually works with you to make sure that you're prepared in those kinds of scenarios. So yeah, we have hosted them in the past, and hopefully we'll do so pretty soon in the future as well.
Thank you. Yeah. So there's a lot of things. The fact that we do resume review sessions, and we do what we call them, whatever we call them, where we'll have ourselves and paraprofessionals sitting there with a table out that you just can walk up and get your resume review. All kinds of things like that. Did you do that one? Did I already repeat that?
What's that?
Did I repeat that? Did you already say that?
No, we didn't talk about the resume review. You're fine.
Yeah. It's just like the academic department has their triaging. I don't know if you heard about that yet or not. It's a great service that our academic counselors do, where you walk up and do a triage when you're trying to declare your major and get your classes and things like that. We are able to deliver our services directly to you in a better way, since we're all in the same building.
And if you guys can talk a little bit, I know I always get questions from the students about the big 4 accounting firms that are coming in. I know we have donuts with Deloitte. We have all these things happening. So can you kind of tell them a little bit about, what the companies do, how they're in each week, what they can kind of expect? I think that would be helpful.
Sure. I'll start, and then Florence will finish up. What's really good to know is, if you're in the accounting world, there are basically, it's called the Big 4. There are a lot of accounting firms. But there are the Big 4. We are a target school for all 4 of the Big 4, and that's very rare. There are many, many schools that are targets for 1, 2, or 3. Not that many that are target schools for all 4, and we're very proud of that distinction. And both in their accounting and in their consulting divisions. So, and in accounting, you also have tax and audit. So we're not a target in any of the things that they recruit for. So that's a very strong thing that the Rutgers Business School can talk about. The other thing that we are is our return on investment. I'm sure Christine probably went into this, is insanely high. So as a business school student considering any private school or any out of state school, if you're looking at return on investment, Rutgers Business School becomes basically a no-brainer. Because the cost differential and how long it'll take you to earn back the differential that you're going to pay in tuition. But I'll leave that other people to talk about. So Florence, why don't you talk about some of the things like donuts for delight and things like that?
Yeah. So obviously, when we're on campus, you actually get a donut. What employers do in our building, we actually have a second floor lounge, which is a great area for employers. They love it because it's right in the heart of the building, and students can come by when there are networking events, and they can meet up with the employers and find out what kind of opportunities they have, what the recruiting process looks like, and then help yourself to a donut, if it happens to be donuts with Deloitte. But we do have other companies too that bring by donuts or some other kind of food just to bring you closer to to them in terms of talking and finding out the types of opportunities that they have. A lot of the companies also do what they call office hours. So they have an opportunity. You do typically have to sign up to meet with them, and you can meet with them one-on-one and talk about your resume, talk about the interview process, talk about the job search, and really find out more about what types of opportunities they're recruiting for and how their recruitment process works. And you can do this very early on. It's not like you are only allowed to do this when you reach a certain point at Rutgers. So feel free, when you see those opportunities, you're going to want to always pay attention to your email, because a lot of the ways that we publicize this information is via email, as well as putting it on our Business Night homepage. But once you start seeing those opportunities, it will give you specific ways of how do you apply and what you need to do in order to attend a lot of these events. But definitely, the earlier you do it, the more recruiters see you, the more they're going to realize that you're interested in their opportunities. So never feel that you can't start early. It's really important to think that way.
Any questions before, because I want to show a screen. Any questions from anybody?
No, I was just going to kind of go off of what Florence said, because for the
Oh, go ahead.
students, sometimes they don't want to go to a career fair. They don't feel they're ready for it. They don't feel their resume has enough. But if you guys could talk a little bit about why it's important for those first years to go to the career fairs, kind of jump in and get their feet wet, because we do hold a career fair in the fall and in the spring. And even if they're not ready, the importance of really going and kind of testing out the waters. If you can touch base a little bit on that.
Right. Well, it's two big reasons. Number one is practice, right? So your first career fair, you're going to probably be uncomfortable. So get it over with early, and you'll get better at the skill. There are skills involved in doing career fairs, which, by the way, we teach. The second reason is you want to start to meet these people, right? Recruiters tend to come back and come back and come back. So they may not have an opportunity for you until your junior summer, but if they meet you as a freshman in your fall semester, meet you again as a freshman in your second semester, your sophomore, and your sophomore, 4 times they'll have met you before they're even ready to hire you. So when they meet you at that career fair where they are looking for you as a junior, they already know who you are. They know a lot about you. And we've got many, many success stories that have taken place like that. Because one of the things that you're going to get from us when you're here is it's about people, right? Relationships are what are important. People hire people. They don't hire resumes. Right? When you pick your employer, a lot of it's going to be, the buzzword is corporate culture. What's the culture? Well, that means the people that are around you. Do you like the people that you're going to be working with? And quite frankly, if they don't like you, you could be as qualified as you can be, but if they don't like you, they're not going to hire you. So it's about human interaction, human relationships. It doesn't matter that we're all in the Zoom world right now. At the end of the day, it comes down to human relationships. Yes, you must be qualified. You can't not be qualified, but you can be less qualified than somebody and still get the job if you've been able to cultivate relationships with the people that you're going to work with or the recruiters that are going to hire you. So Florence, do you want to talk more about that? Or
Yeah, no, I just want to elaborate a little bit on it. And another thing that's a benefit when you go to these events is you educate yourself, because you find out, you might think you might want to be a finance major, and then you start walking around and realize, you know what, I want to be a finance major, but this area of finance might interest me more than the other area. So you educate yourself on what companies are out there, what kind of opportunities they have, and also what you need to fill in while you're a freshman, while you're a sophomore, in order to be eligible when it comes your time, possibly to either the end of the sophomore year or your junior year, to do an internship. So it's a lot of educating yourself as well as figuring out what works, and as our director said, establishing those connections, establishing those contacts. Those are so key.
If you guys could touch also, not only do we have 2 major career fairs a year, don't we have smaller opportunities that may be less formal for certain majors, like supply chain has an expo? So if you guys can touch a little bit on that for the students, I think that's some good information.
Yeah, go ahead, Florence.
Yeah, so we do have expos right now. Supply chain specifically has an expo just for supply chain majors, and the companies that come there are only recruiting for those majors. We had one this time around where there were some other majors tied together in one specific event as well. So those are smaller events I know marketing has done in the past, where they've hosted firms that are looking for marketing students. So we do try to host some of those smaller events as well as the larger career fair, as Christine just said. So yeah.
And Christine, you touched on this earlier, the speed networking events. Now, we don't always have them, but when we do have them, what speed networking does, and why we like them when we can get them organized and the students want them, is it forces you to network whether you want to or not. So you might be uncomfortable networking. So if I stick you in a speed networking room, by the 3rd round, you know how to network. So it's almost like baptism by fire, they call it, right? If I throw you in the water, you're going to sink or swim. So we never just stick you in a speed network room. We talk about what are the techniques and the tools that you need to do it. And then we turn on the room, and then you bounce from alumni to alumni to alumni, or employer to employer to employer, and you have very brief, short conversations. It's like speed dating, but we hope that there isn't any dating taking place, because that could be a little bit uncomfortable and violate several, state laws and certainly policies and procedures and all that kind of good stuff. But hey, look, you never know, right? People are people. So, but they're a lot of fun. They're an awful lot of fun. I mean, you could be very nervous starting out, but no one's nervous once it starts. They're a lot of fun, but you gain an awful lot of knowledge. You gain a lot of contacts that you'll need in the future, and you'll gain mentors on. That's the other thing. The mentorship at the business school is remarkable. The mentorship opportunities, but that's not under OCM. Another thing about OCM that I think is important for you to know, we're a very large organization considering the size of our school. We've got a full-time employer relations team that not every professional school will have. We've got counselors basically for most of the specialty masters, and the specialty masters are all tied to one of your 6 majors. So when we're meeting as a career management team, we're sharing best practices, employers, opportunities that our colleagues in the master's division are making, and we're sharing with them. So you've got this sense of universality of the bigger picture. Our MBA career management office are in these meetings. We're sharing resources with you that are coming from the MBA office. So our MBAs have access to tools that undergraduate students don't get. But because of the way we're integrated in our own larger Office of Career Management, we're able to share many MBA tools with you as undergraduates, which are really quite remarkable. Some of them are a little bit intimidating, but most of them are not. And most of them are what we're teaching you, but you're getting a different take on it, a different spin. You're getting, maybe it's more of a global view than we gave you. And it's something that's great to be able to compare and contrast. And you'll find that when you're going through your education, we're big on experiential learning. So anything that you learn in the classroom, if we can give you practical experience, that's what we want to do, because it'll do a lot of things. It'll solidify that knowledge in your mind. It'll show you that, okay, this guy's chatting about it in class, but it doesn't really work. And then you go and do it, and you go, yeah, it does work. So the two things inform each other. by tying all of our Office of Career Management together like that, these experiential learning opportunities are being shared again across bounds. So sometimes a job will come in, or an internship to the MBA office that isn't really designed for MBAs. Well, it automatically drops down to us. We don't have to go looking for it anymore. And so that kind of cooperation between our divisions has been a lot stronger since we 2 or 3 years ago, when we unified the career management office of the business school. So these are huge advantages. And let me show you what that reflects to. So I'm going to share my screen. I think I can do that. Maybe I should share the whole screen. We'll try the screen, because no, I think we can do this. All right, so tell me, can you guys see my screen right now?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm sharing. This is the university's Office of Career Exploration and Success. This isn't even our website. We don't control this. So student outcomes, I think this is something you should be thinking about, right? So this is Rutgers University as a whole. It's really cool. It's so these are the people that are employed full-time. This is last year graduating class, and you can see it's all color-coded. These are the people that went on to get a higher degree, postgraduate degree, master's. These people are still seeking. So this is the really good news, and this is the really bad news. Okay, so this is the university in general. This is 6 months after graduation. Where was our graduating class? And this is the COVID year, where a lot of opportunities were rescinded. Companies got panicky. So you can see it's really actually pretty good. So everything here is positive except for this. And there's one other one that's negative. Let's see. Well, this is the worst. You wanted a job, you didn't get it. So this is what the whole university looks like. And that includes averaging in all programs, all undergraduate programs, including the business school. Now let's look at the business school. And there's a bit of a change, okay? So the really good news is really, really good. And the really bad news isn't so bad. So I will tell you that when we take out our international students who are legally prevented from working in the United States without some kind of special permission, and Florence can talk more about that if we have international students on the call, this number here was, or actually I should say, what I call the positive outcome rate, are all these added up. So it's the opposite of this. So our positive outcome rate is 97%. So this number is like 3% among domestic students, even during COVID. So this is the difference between the business school and the overall university. So the most important factor here is you. If you apply yourself to your studies and to finding a career, we can almost guarantee that you will be successful. So these students wanted to go on to graduate school, and they did. These people are still seeking continuing education. They may not have been accepted yet, right? These people are employed part-time, but that may or may not be from choice, right? And then, but this is the bad number and this is the really good number. So going back to the whole university, and Rutgers is considered quite high, where would you rather be? All right, now again, it's up to you. It's not up to us. It's up to you. But we're going to train you in how to find a job and how to further your career. We're going to teach it, literally teach it in class and grade you on it, right? Then we're going to give you all these real world opportunities, help you get them, meaning internships, externships, micro internships. There's all these crazy things out there, right? We're going to help you find those. We're going to help you land those. We're going to help you incorporate that all into your LinkedIn profile, your resume, all the other marketing materials that you need for yourself. And then we're going to provide you with opportunities to interview with and meet employers to make that happen. The reason why our numbers are so much stronger than the universities, And Rutgers is a darn good university when it comes to this stuff. So we're in the cream of the cream, right? Is the people on this call and our colleagues. This is the differentiator. All the students here, by getting into the business school and selecting that school that provides a solid education with an incredible faculty that is a great mixture between academia and on the outside world. Many of your professors are going to have really done what they're talking about, not just studied it and researched it and wrote papers on it. They actually did it. One of our professors in supply chain ran the security of the United Nations building in New York. That was his job. Now he teaches at Rutgers University. We've got people who ran the original supercomputers working for Rutgers. All kinds of this at Rutgers Business School. So if you avail yourself of the faculty, which you have to, you don't have a choice, and our offices, which you have more of a choice, not really completely, you are almost guaranteed success. It's really a very interesting thing. I spent most of my career selling jewelry, right? Making and selling jewelry. So I have a lot of experience selling gems. The easiest gem sale I ever had was selling Rutgers Business School students to the outside world. It is unbelievably easy. You will be a very remarkable and formidable candidate when we're done with you. And you're done with yourself because you have to do all the work. But we're going to help you in any way that we can, provide opportunities that no one else is going to provide for you, and make sure that you're successful. If you want to be successful, I can almost guarantee that you'll be successful. Florence, take it from there.
What do you want me to say? I can't top that. That was all. That was perfect. But as you've heard, you do have to do the work. That much you do have to do. You're expected to do the work. But yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities out there for you to start early and to to continue to do what you need to do in order to be successful in your job search. So,
and listen,
Antonio,
most of the stuff that we do is fun, right? Most of the stuff that we do is fun. Career fairs are a lot of fun, right? Dining and business etiquette is a lot of fun. Speed networking is a lot of fun. Most of what we do is fun. Getting a donut from Deloitte, to me, that's fun. I get to cut the line because I work there, so that's even better. Right.
Somebody has a question about sharing the link you just talked about. So.
Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, I have it. You caught me because I already copied it. Hold on, let me share it to everybody. Yes, thank you. Absolutely. And you can go on there and you can do what I was doing, and you can select different schools and see how they fare. It's really very interesting.
It is. And you can also look at the different majors within the business school if you want to see how that pans out as well. So anybody else have some good questions? I know Antonio had a couple good ones. Anybody else has any questions? Yes, go ahead, David.
Okay, so like Mr. Gentile said before about like the big four accounting firms, what are they exactly? Just like curious.
When you say what are they or who are they? You want the names or
like,
you
like the names of them.
Yeah, well, so the big four have been around for a long time. It used to be the big eight, then it went to the big six, now it's the big four. So you've got Deloitte, you've got KPMG, you've got EY, and you have PwC. Those are the bigger players in the accounting world. But there, as you have heard, there are a lot of mid-sized firms that we work with, smaller firms, but those are known as the big four. They've been around. That's just in the industry. That's what they're called, the big four, based on their, their obviously their amount of employees. They're all global, their revenues, those types of things. Yeah.
And let's talk about the second tier, right? So the second tier firms, you've got your Markham, you've got Eisner Amper, you've got Grant Thornton, there's dozens of them, and we are also a target school for most of those. When I first came to Rutgers, I think we had nine accounting firms at our career fair. Now the last one I counted was 27. I mean, if you're an accounting, the accounting firms, all of them are all over Rutgers, crawling all over us. We're rated #1 in the East and 3 in the world, I think, in supply chain. Our BATE, which is Business Analytics and Information Technology. No, you do not have to work on a fishing boat if you're a BATE major. It's incredible. They traditionally had also 100% employment ratio. I mean, crazy, just crazy. Look at that, actually. Let's see. So great question. Thank you for letting us brag.
Are you, David, are you thinking of being an accounting major, or you were just curious?
Yeah, so I think I want to be in either like major in accounting or finance. Like I'm still deciding on that.
That's okay.
Double major. There's an awful lot of double majors at Rutgers. And your academic counselors and we will get together with you and discuss what might be a good combination for you. But I want you to leave with this for sure. Don't do anything for the money. Okay? If you love it, then by all means, we want you to make a lot of money, primarily so you'll donate it to Rutgers. That's a joke. But it's only partly a joke. So we want you to be very, very successful. But at least me, I want you to be happy before or after or during while you're making a lot of money. Okay, I took a huge pay cut to come to work at Rutgers, and I've never been happier in a job in my life. So it's not all about money, okay? But we want you to definitely be successful, but we want you to define success in not just dollars and cents, but are you happy with what you're doing? Are you doing something that you enjoy? Because if you don't enjoy something, it doesn't matter how much money you're making, you're going to be miserable. We'd rather you be happy and make less money. And we've also found, quite frankly, there's an old, I guess it's a cliche, if you do what you love, the money will follow. That's true only to a point. If you select a career like education, the money is not going to follow because there isn't any money. But that's okay, right? It can follow in anything that you're going to do at Rutgers Business School. Does that make sense? So if you like it, by all means, do it. Can you make a lot of money? Absolutely. And you can find out the salaries are all published and things like that. I don't know where that is. Oh, here it's on the same.
It's there. It's on that same.
Right, so let me go back to this thing again. So I brought up the BATE major for a minute. So this is the BATE major, and here's the starting salaries. So I think you could do okay, right? And let's see what accounting is as long as we're playing with this toy. So all majors is 61. So you can see that BATE is considerably above our. By the way, look at median. Try not to look at mean. Look at median. Those of you who understand statistics will realize that that's probably a more important statistic. So here we go. Here's your accounting major. That's slipped over time a little bit in terms of its ranking among our majors. Let's see what art majors make. We don't have any at the business school, so I'm curious how they're doing that. There you go. They're all employed full time. That means that's ridiculous. We don't have that at the business school. So let's go to, did we do BATE? Yeah, we did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are there two?
I don't know.
So let's look at finance. Make sure I only have one selected, right? So there's the finance major. So I think BATE is the big winner. Anyway, I don't want to do this all day long. You guys have the link so you can play with it yourself. But again, we don't want you selecting the major because of the money. We want you selecting the major because you're happy in that major. If you don't like working like with computers and analyzing stuff, don't be a BATE major, right? It's not a lot of coding, but you know, you're not going to be with a lot of people. You know, it's not a people skill like marketing or management, right?
And just to let you guys know, when you first come into the business school, nobody is coming in as a declared major. So David, if you're deciding between accounting and finance, everybody starts with 6, what we call pre-business courses. You don't declare your major until your sophomore year, and then you move into business core requirements, where we give you 12 courses that introduce a course in finance, a course in bait, a course in supply chain, a course in management, a course in marketing. And what that helps you to decide is, what do you like, but more importantly, what don't you like? And all business school students have to take that. I think it's important when you think about interviewing, because you're going to know a little bit about everything. So when you're looking at Rutgers Business School versus other schools, an important question to ask on these sessions is, how is your curriculum set up? If I choose one major and don't like it, am I stuck with that major? If I change, am I going to start back from the beginning? Our schools can change their major several times and not lose any time, money, or credit. So it's an important thing to really look at as you're making these final decisions with just about 3 weeks left to go. Start looking at how the curriculums are set up. So you're going to have classes in accounting. I always have students who say, I want to be an accounting major. A year into this program, they come back to me and say, no way, Christine, that's not what I want to do. Also sit in next week on Monday. We have an accounting session live and a finance session live. And you'll be able to talk to faculty members and kind of get a good idea as to what the career opportunities are for you. So that might be a good way to search.
I'm really glad you reminded me of this, Christine, because one of the things that makes you, as a Rutgers Business School graduate, so powerful for me to go out and sell is the way our curriculum is designed. So what's kind of fun to me is you're going to be, when you graduate, you've got a core business. You've taken the intro class of all 6 business majors. That makes you a well-rounded business student. You've got an arts and sciences core that you must complete. That makes you a well-rounded student in general, and I would say human being. So the liberal arts are very good at rounding out the person and preparing them for life after college. The business school takes you that, and then they build on that. They make you a well-rounded business school student. Then you have to focus, like all colleges, on a major, but we allow you to multi-major. There are no minors in the business school, which I like because it frees you up for a second major if you so choose. Or you can minor in something outside of the business school. So if you like archaeology, I'd love to pick on that major, and I shouldn't, but I do. If you like archaeology and they'll never get a job as an archaeologist, well, heck, minor in it or double major in it. It doesn't matter because your accounting major is going to get you the job. So this is a powerful thing about the Rutgers Business School. It gives you an incredible opportunity to round yourself out in ways that I think a lot of other schools would find it difficult for you to do that. And I credit Markowitz for that. Dean Markowitz, he built the program that way. He insisted on the liberal arts core, which makes you a very, very powerful candidate when you go out into the real world. You're not just a hardcore business person. You've got that liberal side to you, that liberal education side to you, which is going to carry you through the soft skills and things like that tend to get lacking in professional schools. So thanks for bringing that up, Christine, because that I think is, and I want to tell you an anecdote. Since I'm from Rutgers, you don't have to tell me how great Rutgers is. I already know that. But so I had an employer come to me from one of the big banks, and he and his colleague came and were in my office, and he said, I'd love to hire Rutgers students. And I go, why? and first of all, he was from Dartmouth, so and his associate was a Rutgers alum, so he had to beat the crap out of the guy for a while. That was a lot of fun. But after the joking was, and no, Dartmouth is an Ivy League school, right? So I said, so no, all kidding aside, why? And he said, I am going to tell you why. He said, look, I can hire from anybody I want to, and I do. I hire from all the Ivies because I can, right? And you know, you got to have a few Ivy League diplomas in the place. And I said, but why Rutgers? And he said, this is the reason why. He goes, a Rutgers alum hits the ground running. On the first day of work, the guy from Harvard is saying, where's my assistant? And I have to say to him, you are the assistant. The alum, the Rutgers alum says, what do you need me to do right now? And then when they're done, they come to me and say, what do I have to do next? You'll be trained to hit the ground running. You get a real world exposure and experience. And the Rutgers experience isn't going to always be easy and smooth. You're going to have to fight your way through. You're going to have to figure stuff out. It's a big place. No one's going to hold your hand. I will tell you something about Rutgers is I've yet to meet anybody who tell me they couldn't find help unless they didn't go out and ask for it. But is somebody going to walk up to you and say, hey, you look like you know what major to declare. Can we have a meeting? Whereas they do that at some other schools, at Ivy League schools. They don't allow you to fall aside like that. It could happen to you here, right? But don't take the bull by the horns. Take ownership of your career. And this is any school you go to. If you don't come to Rutgers, do the same thing. You take ownership. You take ownership of the classes you're going to take. You take ownership of your degree path and make sure that you're completing all your major, minor requirements and anything else that they might have. You take control of that. Don't let anyone else do that for you. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask. Ask your counselors, ask your professors, ask anybody who is in a position to help you. But take your own ownership. And that's what we kind of make you do here at Rutgers. And that's going to make you a better candidate for the real world. You rise to the top faster when you leave Rutgers. If you want to know what a Rutgers student is, Google the Angela Duckworthy TED Talk on grit. She's not talking about Rutgers and she's not talking about college students. But if you watch that, I think it's a 20-minute TED Talk, you'll understand the Rutgers secret sauce. I call it the secret sauce. It's called grit. You have grit. If you come here, you have grit. Many people come to Rutgers because their parents couldn't afford to send them to the Ivy League school that they also got into. I pit every single Rutgers business school student against any Ivy League student. I have no problem with it at all. None. And I will win every time. Because you are, by getting in here, as smart as them. You've already proven that. Christine wouldn't have you on this call if she didn't already know that you were as smart as any Ivy League student. But you're going to work a lot harder here, believe it or not, than you would there. Maybe not in your classroom, but in everything else. And the great thing about a school like Rutgers is, because it's such a huge school, you've got incredible club and course options that are not available at smaller schools. The business school is bigger than Princeton University's undergraduate program, complete undergraduate program. There you go.
We have a question. Sean asked, how long does it take to double major? And when you can finish that. So Sean, we have students, most of our students do that within a 4-year period. So if you double major with something within the business school or in the School of Arts and Sciences, it's very easy because those two schools share the same common core curriculum, meaning the liberal arts or general education curriculum. So it all depends on what you're looking to double major in. But most often students do finish it within the 4 years. It's very easy to do. And we have a question from James for you. Do you have any students who graduate with the finance major and go into quantitative finance jobs? Gino, that would be for you.
Yes, we do. Actually, we also have a master's for that. And it's a short master's program. So that's a great career path. So you get your undergraduate degree in finance, then you take the quant degree, and that would be an incredibly powerful thing. And at that point, you'd be working with my colleague in the master's program, and it's a small program, and it's but yeah, we have all that stuff.
And another question for you, Gino, how soon can a student sign up for business night or any of those job search platforms?
The day you arrive on campus. Once we get your registrar feed that you have paid your tuition, and there are no holds, we get an automatic feed, and you have full access to all resources of my office. That's career fairs, the career management tool, all of our other resources that we offer. You have counseling appointments with us, everything. You have 100% access the day you arrive on campus, basically.
That was a great question.
And we want you to take advantage of. That is a great question.
Okay, we're about to wrap up. Does anybody have any other questions? Does somebody want to unmute themselves? Throw a question in the chat box. Anything you have for Gino?
You want to share anything? Like,
I had a quick question for my daughter, actually. How do the first 4 semesters get plotted from a course and curriculum? I know you've got the School of Arts and Sciences core curriculum and the business school core curriculum. Are those all satisfied in the first, 2 or 3 semesters? How does that work?
So pretty much it's a block step curriculum. There are 6 pre-business courses that students need to take. We only register them for 2 of those at a time. So what they're taking in conjunction with those pre-business courses are their general education courses, the School of Arts and Science courses. So they're trying to wrap them up really within the first 2 years, but they do have 4 years to finish the general education curriculum. They have to finish the 6 pre-business within the first 2 years because they need to declare their major and move on then to those business core requirements, which would be those intro classes. And they need to take those intro classes before they're satisfying the 21 to 27 credits in their field of study or their major, which is typically happening within their junior to senior year. Some are doing it as early as their 2nd semester of sophomore year.
Okay, so a major is a minimum of how many credits?
21 to 27 credits, depending on the major.
Okay, great. So you can get 2 majors done. Gotcha.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very easy because the gen ed counts exactly the same. So you're really only taking those 21 to 27 credits in that specific field of study. And for students who come in with AP coursework, it's very easily done. And a lot of our students do that as well. But even if you don't have that, you can certainly double major within the 4 years.
We have some that triple major, but I think that's the insane. Oh, by the way, if you're an accounting major and you're thinking about the CPA, you want to be thinking about 150 credits. So you probably will be here for a little longer.
Right, and you can, our accounting students can either load up on credits during their 4 years, or they can go for 1 additional year and earn a specialty master's degree. It's called the Macy's program, a master's in accountancy. That'll earn you your 30 additional credits plus your graduate degree. So in 5 years, you've kind of got everything done. So again, I think it's a matter of speaking with your academic advisors and utilizing your resources, because we're throwing a lot of information out at you and there's no way that you're going to remember all of this. So just know that as big as Rutgers is, the business school is only about 4,000 students from first year to seniors. So we're a smaller, more professional school that's part of the larger university. You have access to all of university resources, but as we showed you tonight, there are exclusive resources that only business school students have access to. And I think that's what separates us from many of the other universities and schools out there. So thank you guys for joining us. Congratulations on being admitted, all of your efforts and hard work. I'm not supposed to say this, but I always say it, hit the button. You only have 3 weeks, hit the button, come
Yeah, hit
to
the
us in
button.
the fall.
Come
Hit
and
that
join
button.
us.
Come and join us in the fall. We're excited to get back. We're excited to share the resources with you. We'll be having more live content next week as far as the majors, residence life and living learning communities. This Saturday, April 10th, is our big shebang where Dean Markowitz kicks it off at 9 a.m. So welcome, you brightest of the bright students. Dean Schnatter goes on at 10 to welcome the first year students. And then we have other sessions throughout the day. So I hope you will join us. Whatever school you choose, I do wish you guys the best of luck. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll be seeing you guys soon. So thanks everybody for joining us.
I threw
Thank you.
my email address into the chat box in case you have questions after this. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope to see you on campus. Christine, thank you for this opportunity. I hope it was helpful, and I hope to see all their smiling faces or their names on their Zoom classes going forward.
Hopefully not names on a screen. We will see you in person. We have to
My
get out-
class is going to be virtual, I think. Too big.
All right, guys, have a good night, everyone.
Good night, all. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.